Hello and welcome to Hot Flashes and Cool Chats. I wanted you to know that I started these conversations because through my work as a midlife concierge and my community, Mamas in Menopause, that I am building, I meet so many amazing people. I not too long ago introduced you to Miss Serena Teddy, and funny enough, we talked about, what she does. She's a functional medicine practitioner. But during the talk, she did share that the reason how she got here was through her own journey, having an autoimmune disorder. And after we recorded, we kept talking, and we had to record again because there's too much to share. So we're a little bit off topic here because we don't normally just come back and record again, but we're doing it. And this is how today is going to happen. So tell us a little bit about you, Serena, just for someone who didn't maybe see the first episode that you were on, and just a little bit who you are and what you do.
So I'm a functional medicine practitioner, and my passion is helping women with autoimmune illness or chronic illnesses heal naturally. And I started this work because of my own journey. I had an autoimmune illness diagnosed shortly after 9/11, actually, that autoimmune illness nearly took me out for life, for permanent.
Oh,
And because of this personal journey, I embarked on trying to figure out how to undo my own illness. And, I was on medication for 18 years. I had chemotherapy twice to put my immune system into like, to stand down so it wasn't attacking my own vital organs.
oh,
And in that journey, I tried to learn to undo the disease that I had. And
yeah.
I think it's been 5 years. So I got off medication 2020 during COVID. COVID was also one of the most stressful time for healthcare workers. I was a frontline worker at that time. That was also the time I actually got off medication. And so now I opened Steddy Health and Wellness because I really wanted to share this with other people. And I really find that there's a lot of misinformation out there. And as someone who's gone through it, who had the autoimmune illness and who no longer have it, I want to share this with lots of people.
I love that. And I think that's kind of what happened is we had recorded Hot Flashes, Cool Chats. We kind of did a little introduction of who you were. We had a great conversation. And after we stopped recording, we kept talking about you and your background and your autoimmune disorder. And so I found it so fascinating because you have some steps. So I want to
Yes,
know for people listening, because I
yes,
know this is going to be a question. How
yes,
did you, because I know you get asked it as well,
yes,
how did you heal your autoimmune disorder?
yes. This is a hot one. And this came to me when I was at a silent retreat because I was forced to be with my brain because I get this question asked all the time. And so I
Mm,
had to think back to how I actually did it. And then I realized there were 4 steps.
mm,
The first step of healing with any chronic illness is believing that you can. Okay, I was told by doctors at the young age of 20 that I was going to be on these medications forever. And the list was honestly growing. It started
wow.
as two, then four, then five. And I kept asking myself, I'm not even 60. And I had to go to the pharmacy and pick up 5 medication that's keeping me alive. When will I ever
Wow.
see it? And when I went to med school and I looked at the pamphlet that they gave you, the pages and pages, some of them were going to give me cancer. Some of these drugs were eventually going to give me cancer.
Wow.
And that kind of like made me wonder, can I actually heal? I had all these professionals tell me that I couldn't, but I'm like, nope, I'm going to try. I believe that the body is designed to heal when given the right opportunity. So I'm going to believe that I can. So the first step is actually believing that you can overcome something. And I've seen some amazing stuff. I've seen people with like stage 4 cancer who are like able to like live through that.
Wow.
So the human mind is extremely powerful to being able to actually achieve what it can actually choose to. So number
So
one.
how long from diagnosis till when you believed you could do it? Was it years? Was there time?
Yes, absolutely. For 18 years, I listened to the doctors telling me I couldn't.
Ah,
For
wow.
18 years, I drank that Kool-Aid that said I couldn't. So I believed it, and
Mm,
I'm going to be, and for a while, to be honest, I accepted it. Despite being a functional medicine practitioner, I accepted that, okay, this is just going to be me. I guess, 2, 3 drugs is really not that bad compared to like 6. But then but when COVID happened, and what happened with COVID was really transformational for me. Because
Mhm.
of the drugs that I was on, I was so severely immunosuppressed. My rheumatologist didn't feel it was safe for me to be a frontline worker.
Oh,
And I was
wow.
in contact with COVID patients. So my doctor was like, you can't go work. You're crazy. You're going to die if you got COVID. So she actually took me
Right.
off for a couple months so I didn't have to be in person working with people. But then I really, really loved what I did. And so I said, nope, I'm going to get off medication because I want to go out there and help people.
Wow.
That's
Wow,
when,
you're strong. You are a strong woman. So you believed. You're like, okay, I am changing this and I believe I can do something about it.
because my love for what I did was much greater than the fear that I had. That's
Mm,
what it really ultimately was. I loved what I did, what I do, what I still do today. And that was so much bigger than this fear of like this disease overtaking me.
wow. Wow.
So that's number one. Number
Okay.
two, the second step is really working with someone where you feel like your nervous system could completely just relax. And you know that when you've met someone, when you
Yeah.
meet with a provider for the first time and you really felt that they see you and connect with you and you can feel, and as women, we are feelers, your nervous system
Yeah.
just completely exhales and you can feel like it breathes and relaxes. That's number two.
Yeah.
Working with someone you trust. Okay. Number three is knowing exactly what your vision is. And I say, and I tell this silly story all the time. When I work with people, I'm like, you have to know exactly what you want. And they'll tell me, yeah, I know exactly what I want. I'm like, no, 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 let me be clear about it. Okay. The human brain does not know what to do with, I don't want this.
Right.
Okay, so I don't want this to the brain means not a whole lot. And I'll give you an example, which is if you go to an Italian restaurant and you look on the menu and you see lasagna, ooh, that sounds really good. I'm going to have that. The
Yeah.
waiter comes over like they normally do and says, hey, I'm ready to take your order. What can I get you tonight? And you turn to the waitress and he says, I don't want spaghetti.
Yeah.
The waitress
What
like,
else on the menu?
well, what can I get you? I want spaghetti, right? So if you keep telling your brain, I don't want diabetes, I don't want lupus, I don't want to be tired, I don't, your brain does not know what to do with that, but
It
your
doesn't know
brain,
where to go. It doesn't know what
exactly,
it wants. Yeah, it only knows
exactly,
what it doesn't want.
exactly. So that is
Wow.
not clear enough for the brain. So for me, when I decided I know I can heal, what I wanted was very clear. I wanted to be able to continue my career. I wanted to be with my colleagues, in the front line working to help
Mm,
people who were diagnosed with COVID or to help people with COVID, all these patients that were like ill. I wanted to be that. It was very, very clear what I wanted. When
wow.
that came, when my vision came and I wanted something to be very clear, as I tell my patients, you have to be crystal clear about what you want. If you don't
Yeah.
know what you want, that's not going to get you there. You have to be very clear. The last thing, which is what most people actually really struggle with, is practice. What does that
Mm,
mean? To get to where I needed to get to, I need to eat well. I need to
yeah.
exercise. I need to sleep well. So I have to ask myself when, there are times when I'm like tired from working a 12-hour shift. I'm exhausted in bed. I'm like, oh my God, I really, really I just want to lie down. I don't want to go for my walk. But I'm like, nope, you got to get up because your vision is you really want to continue doing this work.
Yeah.
You're tired, but you're achy, but you need to get out there, get your body moving, get oxygen going. And so usually when I go, even if it's for a 15-minute short walk, because I've got to be outside, right? The sun exposure, I feel
Yeah.
so much better after 15 minutes.
Yeah, it's taking action. It's easy enough to say, I want lasagna, I want lasagna. But if,
Yes.
let's say you're not at a restaurant, you got to make it. You got to
You
make the
gotta make
lasagna to
it
get the
happen.
lasagna.
You gotta make it happen. Like I tell my patients who struggle with mood, I'm like, okay, you don't want to be depressed, you don't want to be anxious, but what do you want to be instead? And they look at me, they're
Yeah.
like, I don't know. And I'm like,
Yeah.
antidepressants are anti-sad pills. Anti-sad don't equal happy. Anti-sad means
Yeah.
it's sad, but it's not happy.
Wow. That's powerful.
So I encourage patients, whenever they come to me with whatever diagnosis it is that they have, it's like, okay, I know it's obvious you don't want to be bloated. It's obvious you don't want to be tired. It's obvious you don't want to be in pain. It's obvious you want to, reverse diabetes. But what is it exactly that you want? If you want to reverse diabetes so that you can play with your grandchildren, if you
Mm,
want reverse like having high cholesterol so that you can, go skydiving, or do something completely crazy that puts a strain in your heart. That has to be a vision. And if that is your vision, then you have to be very clear about how to get there. And I'll help you with the steps of how to get there. Because that's
Wow.
the reason of working with me is I can help you create what that looks like to help you get there. Same thing with
Wow.
autoimmune illness. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So with chronic illness, with autoimmune illness, the body is quite simple and quite complex at the same time. It needs to eat certain food, it needs certain nourishment, it needs to rest, it
Yeah.
needs to what is it, rest and reset, right? It needs to move, it needs to exercise. So all of these different aspects are just foundational things that keep us healthy.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow, that's super powerful. So, words of encouragement, I guess, for others that might be struggling, and maybe it's not, a chronic illness where people are on medication, even if, obviously, as that's going through menopause and the hormones, mindset. What should people do first to just get themselves in the right place to take these 4 steps?
So for me, there has to be an internal understanding of what it is that you want. And that I think it can be a struggle for some women who lose their
Mm.
sense of worth.
Yeah.
A lot of times women dictate their needs and wants based on what everybody wants and needs are. But the biggest step and the most important step is asking themselves, what is it that I want and need? If they struggle with being able to answer that, I always take them back to, what did you want when you were 8? What
Okay.
did you want when you were 12? I mean, considering they didn't have any history of abuse, usually children are very clear about what they want.
Yeah.
So if I take them back there, usually they can have some remembrance of what it is that they want. So even if they don't take medication, right? Everybody wants to be at peace. Maybe not happy, because if you're happy all the time, that's manic, but
Yeah.
at peace, being able to overcome challenges. Specifically ask yourself, what is it they want? Be financially free. What does that look like? What does financial freedom look like to you?
Yeah.
What does
Yeah.
physical health look like to you? Does that mean you're able to run a 13-mile marathon? Not for me, but maybe that's
Yeah.
what health is like for you. So if that's the case, be very clear about what you want. Start
Mm.
there. Number
Mm.
two, you know, if you're working with a practitioner, it's not about the number of letters behind their name. It's really about whether or not they're mindful and listening to you when you're with them.
Yeah.
And when
Yeah.
you have protocols working with them, check in with yourself. Is this working? Is this getting me where I want to get to? And if it's not, then pivot and ask yourself, is it something I can do differently to get me to
Mm.
where I want to get to?
Mm. Agreed. And I think the most important thing that just keeps resonating with this is as we're pulled in so many different directions, as there's a lot of chaos going on with us, um, really take interest in taking care of yourself,
Yes.
taking time to really, really listen to yourself and take care of your own self
Yeah.
first
Yes.
before you're tackling everybody else's pulls.
Yes. Yes. And I want to also add that this is not selfishness. It's the most loving thing you can do for the people you love, is taking
Mm.
care of yourself.
Ooh, that's powerful. I love
Yeah.
that.
It's really because people think like, oh, if I take care of myself, I'm being selfish. I'm like, no, no, no. You're being selfless when you take care of yourself. Because if
Yeah.
your cup is full, then you can fill other people's cup. If your cup is empty, you are filling from a place of bitterness and resentment.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to drink that.
No one wants a drink of that stuff. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. And I'm so glad that we decided to get back on and share this conversation. We had already talked about that we needed a part 2, 3, 4, 5, and everything. So who knows? We're going to be in the same outfits the next time you see us because we're going to be like, we need to record again. Oh my gosh. Well, thank you again. I'm so thankful for you. Again, Serena, you started Steady Health. You're the founder, and you're really making an impact. And the way that you support women is just, it's just so thoughtful. And I'm so appreciative that we're able to get to know you a little bit more. So
Yes.
thank
Happy
you
to help.
again, once again, to you, and thank you to everyone watching today. And thanks for joining us on another chat, Hot Flashes, Cool Chats. I'm so grateful for everyone for being here. And until next time, remember, you are not alone on the midlife journey. Here's some more Hot Flashes, Cool Chats, and meaningful conversations. Talk soon.